Hey y'all, it's Olivia Lane and I'm hanging with Rob on Front Row Live.
I heard about you maybe like 2-3 years ago.
Really?
Yes, I definitely did. And so when I heard about you again, that you were in town, I got a little excited. Yay. I'm not going to fanboy too much.
No.
I don't want to make it uncomfortable here.
Honestly, I need more fanboys.
Oh my gosh. Well, then there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for taking the time. You have a single that's out right now.
Yeah.
You have a single that's coming up real soon.
Mm-hmm.
Before we talk about these singles, I just want to jump into You Part 2 because
is that your jam?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Jam, you needed that.
I feel like
came out.
yeah, I feel like low key you kind of like country rap in that song.
I do. Yeah, I that was a moment where I guess I came out with that song like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought like I was like really cool and I was like, let's just drop like a rap in the middle of, I don't even know what I was thinking, honestly, but thank you. Some people really hate it and then some people really love it. So,
What's there to hate?
I don't know, because I'm just like this weird white girl dropping a rap. It's like I don't know, it's weird. In country music, no one really raps.
It's perfect. I really love that. So you know, if you do more stuff like that, I wouldn't mind.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Maybe I will.
So talk to me about your latest single, You Got Me. It's been out for a little bit now. Tell me about the creative process behind this one, and you know what producer did you jump in the studio with for this?
Yeah, so my producer, his name is Skip Black. You probably don't know who he is, but you will one day because he's absolutely amazing. He's such a like uncovered gem. I feel like he's just bubbling right now.
Is he a gem from Nashville?
He is. Okay. Well, he's originally from North Carolina, and he's been in Nashville for a really long time, and he's been a songwriter for a long time, and he's been diving into the producing thing. And so I'm like one of his first acts, and there's another artist, Kaylee Shore, that he's working with. So he's just bubbling right now. But I actually wrote this song with Aaron Schurz and Tim Nichols. Aaron's like one of my collaborators that it's like a frequent collaboration with him. Right. And my next single is with Aaron Schurz as well. But we went to the studio that day, and the writing process is so dynamic and different every day. I went in with like no ideas. Usually I'll go in with like a chorus or a title, or I was like a blank canvas that day. And I think it was purposeful because honestly, I went in there and Aaron spun around in his chair and he was like, I've got a song, like a title called You Got Me. And like literally, I truly felt like the song was just completely downloaded in my brain. I was like, okay, we're writing this.
Here's the lyrics. There you go.
Here it is. And like 2 hours later, it's like I feel like I blacked out. And like 2 hours later, I was like, oh my gosh, we have like a pretty great song. Like this is either really, really great or like really terrible. I don't know. You go through that whole artist thing where you're like, this could be amazing or it could be like absolutely awful.
Right. Well,
so
getting to this song, obviously you've gone, I mean, I want to say like 5 years of trying to find your sound, trying to discover yourself. When did you know that, you know, this is Olivia, this is my sound?
Yeah. I don't know if you're ever 100% sure. Yeah. I think this last year I went off the road, probably toward.
That doesn't sound safe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like touring. I can see how people who don't know what I'm talking about would think that's.
We have a lot of mountains here in LA, so going off the road is not ideal.
I see what you did there. So touring wise, I went off the road and got my butt into the studio. Because I really felt like after I came out with that EP and You Part 2, I really needed to get focused on what my next chapter was, what I wanted to say, who I really was, and like kind of dig a little bit deeper emotionally. And so for a solid year, this whole last year, I was just like writing, and I realized my writing style started to change, and all of my songs started to become very, very cohesive. Okay. All of sort of the messages behind them, what I was writing about, what I was going through in my life. And You Got Me really was one that sort of started the whole thing. So it's very appropriate that it's the first single because it really helped me focus a lot as a songwriter and as an artist with what I wanted to say. And I think You Got Me is truly like a very big universal message. I really like my songs to be kind of big universally, where it's like you listen to You Got Me and maybe the first listen you think it's about a boyfriend and a girlfriend or like a romantic relationship. But the more times you listen to it, a lot of fans have been like, oh yeah, like I played this for my son or daughter, or I played this for my best friend. Right. I played this for, you know, XYZ who needed it. And I just love that so many people are taking the song and making it their own. And I think that's truly a powerful song where it's like, it's not just about one like relationship.
Right, exactly. I think that's how it, you know, it ends up gravitating to everybody.
Yes, absolutely. And after we came out with You Got Me, it's been really, really crazy seeing how my fan base has been reacting in comparison to all of my other stuff. They've been tagging like all their friends like crazy, and it's like, whoa, there's something here. And so like I have like probably 40 songs that I'm like trying to go back through and like try to find the similar connection of what
copy paste.
Like I'm trying to find like that universal message that You Got Me seems to have in these songs. So I think the next song also has that too. So I'm excited.
Now with creating music, especially as a country artist, like that's one of the things that I fell in love with country. I didn't used to like country before. And after I started to pay attention to the music and the songs and the lyrics, it's like people get vulnerable. It's not like today's, I'm sorry, it's not like today's hip hop where people, you know, talk about things that we really don't care to hear.
Yeah.
You know, but with country, it's like you get personal, you get vulnerable. How do you do that? How are you able to do that, especially when you go into the studio with a complete stranger who's producing or co-writing with you? Like, how do you get comfortable?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It's weird. Like, if you want to be a songwriter or an artist and you can't open up and you can't talk about your feelings, you're not going to be very good at it.
You're in the wrong lane.
You are. You're in the wrong. You should just go off the road. Just kidding. Sorry.
Says Olivia Lane.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it took me a minute to really, I mean, I've always kind of been an open book. Like I go into rooms and I'm like, hi, my name's Olivia. What's your deepest fear? Like, I like to get to it.
I wasn't ready for that one.
I know. What is your deepest
I don't know. This is getting, oh man.
But I've always been that kind of person.
Right.
And I even had to go beyond being that deep, like being that comfortable with people, you know, like I really had to go inside of my brain and be honest with the emotions that I was writing, and just dig deeper. Like a song's never fully finished to me. You know, I'm even listening to You Got Me and I'm like, dang, we should have put like that one lyric in there. Like, oh, I wish we would have had more space.
Should have rapped a little bit in this.
I should have rapped a little in there, you know. Definitely not that. Yeah, I just, at some point you have to let it go. Yeah. You know, just like your emotions. Like you emotions are great for songwriting, and then like you just kind of have to let them go. And I think that's why songwriting is kind of therapeutic for me, because I just have a lot of emotions and I like to put them out there, and you just can't feel bashful about it. Right. You can't be. You have to be unapologetic about what you're feeling. Right. And some people might think you're absolutely bananas loco crazy, and those are not your people. Those are your people. Not your people. Yeah.
So if they don't like the rapping, they're not your people.
They're not my people. Clearly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna keep asking you to just make another track like that.
Yeah. Where it's all rapping. I do love rapping. Like I listen to so much like Eminem, Snoop Dogg. Like me and my mom, we used to jam and like rap together. Man. So I do have but I'm also a millennial, and that's when music, you know, like with streaming and iTunes, all genres started to cross over, and that's what's happening in country right now. But I do think country, the truest form of country, is a very vulnerable lyric. Right. Yeah.
Now, speaking of songwriting, you went to USC to learn songwriting. You also, you know, you went to Nashville, which is just insane for songwriting. And then you kind of, you know, you've been bouncing back from LA, Nashville, and then Texas, where you were raised, right? So, you know, how did these different locations kind of influence or impact your songwriting?
Yeah. Gosh, I'm going to try to tell this in a very not 27 years of my life story. So I grew up in Houston, Texas, and that was it was very different from living in LA, obviously. I grew up in a community where it's like everyone went to the same 2 churches. Everybody was on the same like kind of soccer teams. Like we all played each other. Everybody went to like 2 or 3 schools, so we all knew each other. And Houston's a big city, but I was in a suburb that sort of felt like a small town. Right. And so growing up in that atmosphere, like I had a very blessed childhood. Like my parents are rock stars. I love them. I mean, my mom was a singer, so like she made sure that I was exposed to all the music I possibly could be exposed to. And then she like showed me her favorite country singers like Trisha Yearwood and Reba and Linda Ronstadt and just everything. Took me to the studio with her, like just everything. And then about 16 years old, I was doing theater, like community theater and stuff, but I wanted more. I craved more. Right. And for like 6 months, I begged my parents to move to Los Angeles. I like go back in my mind.
So it wasn't just you. It was like the family.
Yeah. Wow. Like my mom went with me and my dad went back and forth. Wow. And then my sister was going off to college. So I think part of me was a little bit scared that I was going to be like the only child in the house. But I just really craved going to LA. Like I wanted to... Nashville wasn't really on the radar to me yet because I didn't know that you could actually move there and be a songwriter. Right.
I feel like Nashville is just recent, like where everybody just wants to go.
Absolutely. And I also think it's sort of like the Taylor Swift effect too. It was like she moved there and she proved that like young people can move there and be a songwriter, you know? And so that was all happening when I got to LA. So moved to LA when I was 16, and that was a culture shock. Huge culture shock. Like I went to high school and people were like, did you ride horses to school? It's so cute. And I was like, I'm from like a city. Like what? Like what is happening? And like I didn't even know like what weed was until I moved to Cal. I was very sheltered, like in my little Houston. It was a very big culture shock moving to California. Yeah, everybody in California, like I think like things are just more open to talk about. And like from Houston, people were like, oh, like keep your insecurities and things like to yourself. Right. You don't talk about it. Like, I don't know. There was like so much drama in my Houston suburb. It was crazy. But like in California, everybody is like their crazies out in the open. That's kind of nice. And I think that really influenced me as a person, like especially in like the 16 to 21, like the 6 years I lived in LA. Like it just encouraged me to be like sort of like just put everything out there and not feel ashamed about it or scared. And then like I was in college, I did songwriting, I did theater, and one day it just clicked after songwriting class. I was like, I have to move to Nashville. Like I got to go to Nashville. I just need to be again.
You don't even do stepping stones. You just like go.
Like it was like literally it was like huge jump, like settle for a little bit. Okay, now huge jump. Insane. Like I don't know. I think about it sometimes, and I'm like when I decide something, I'm just like, let's go. Like you can't overanalyze it because then you'll talk yourself out of it. Right. You know?
You're like those military parents. Like it's like, oh, we're going to another base.
And you're like, okay, well, hold on for the ride. Like all the Olivias are like, what? Really? We're doing this, huh? All the Olivias in my brain. They're like, we can't. The emotional one's like, but wait, you're gonna leave all your friends. I'm like, doesn't matter. We gotta go.
Pursue that career. Gotta do what it takes.
You do. You really. If there's one like piece of advice, like you have to be present to win. So many of my fans message me and they're like, you're in music, like what did you do? I was like, you need to pick up an instrument and you need to move where you want to be successful. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
I mean, I have some brilliant
easy,
words
but it's
sometimes.
brilliant.
I'm just kidding. I mean, I spit some brilliant raps.
Yeah. I mean, I keep asking for them. So,
totally kidding.
So you kind of teased a little bit saying this was the first single. So the first single for what? Are you working on an album? Are you working on an EP?
I don't quite.
Mixtape?
A mixtape. Maybe it's a mixtape.
That's why you're like saying no to rap.
I know, right? I should just keep it open-ended to call it a mixtape in case I ever want to go into rap. No. I don't know. Hopefully an EP. We're going to keep rolling out singles just because it's kind of a singles-driven market right now. But I hope an EP because that would be... EPs are like anywhere from 3 to 8 songs. They're like basically records. But yeah, I'll probably just put out an EP that probably has like 5 or 6 songs eventually at some point next year.
Now, 3 is my favorite number. So I got excited to hear that your next single is Hey 3 a.m. Oh so tell me about this track and like what kind of inspired this track? Yeah, so I wrote this with a good buddy, Aaron. It's just me and him. And it's so funny. So I'm a night owl. Like I stay up and I don't know why. Like I could go to bed at night. Because you're an artist. It's normal. It's like I know. That's what I'm saying. Like my schedule is like from like noon to like 2 or 3 a.m. You know what I mean? And like I just one night I got so mad at myself. I like stayed up watching Netflix, just stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know what I was doing. And I looked at the clock and I was like, I have to be up in like 5 hours. Like, why am I up? Like, I just got so mad at myself. And I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool idea. I was like, hey, 3 a.m. Like, what's up? Like, I looked at my clock and I was like, fuck. Like, I cannot believe it. Like, and I was like, okay, hey, 3 a.m. just popped into my head as like a title. And I was like, maybe it's a song that's sort of like a talking to 3 a.m., like my frustrations, this and that. And so I brought in the idea to Aaron the next day, and it was so funny. It was a Friday. Our other co-writer canceled on us, and we were just kind of like, let's just write. He was like, can we write something fun and up-tempo? And I was like, cool. I have an idea that's like the complete opposite from that. It's called Hey 3 a.m., and it's about this. I don't know. As soon as I said it, it was sort of that magical moment again with You Got Me that we just understood each other. Right. And he was like, I got it. Like, we both showed up that day and wrote the crap out of that song. I'm so excited about it. But basically, the song opens with like, hey, 3 a.m., here we are again. It's been a while since I've seen you. How you been?
And it goes into saying, like, I could say I've missed you, but that would be a lie. It's funny how you're not around when things are going fine. So it's just kind of like this song that unfolds of, you can either at 3 a.m., it's like you're trapped with yourself and your thoughts. Yeah. You know, like in the wee small hours of the morning, you just have yourself. And you can either go down all those crazy rabbit holes, like you could have said something different in that conversation that day, or like 4 years ago, you could have said something different in that fight that you would have won, you know, like, or like you could have made a different decision that would have completely changed your life. And you can overanalyze everything, or you can just say, I'm going to bed. Mind, I'm shutting you off and I'm going to bed. And you can just try to do better the next day. So that's essentially, the song is sort of about letting go of the pressure of life, really.
That's awesome. I'm the opposite. No matter what time I go to sleep, my body just automatically wakes up at 4 a.m.
Oh.
So, and it's like torture sometimes.
Okay, well then just replace 3 a.m. with 4 a.m.
Exactly. I might have to do my version,
your version,
the remix. You do remixes on this EP?
Yeah, it's a mixtape.
There we go. We got this.
Yeah. It's an EP mix. It's an EP slash mixtape. We can do whatever we want.
Now, throughout your career, you've been able to do a couple of tours with Billy Ray Cyrus, and you've also, shared the stage with someone that's hot right now, which is Kelsey Ballerini. Yeah. Being around those kind of artists and watching them prepare for their live shows or watching them tour, like, what did that teach you, and what did you gain from that?
Yeah. I think watching any artist, whether they're big or small, you can learn something. Especially as an opener. I think what I respect, because I kind of categorize myself as an entertainer first. I just love being around people. I love entertaining people. I feel like it's what I was made to do on this earth. And my gift just happens to be, singing and songwriting as I'm entertaining people. And it's really fun ways to try and, like, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I'm an entertainer. How do I entertain with just me and a guitar? How do I entertain with me and a full band? How do I entertain? And so I watch for those kinds of things. I watch for artists interacting with the audience. Those are the artists that I respect, because it's not just about them. Right. An artist, it's truly about the audience. The audience is paying to see you. They're paying for a good time. They're paying for an experience. And even if they're not paying, they're there with their friends. You're like probably the last thing on their radar. You know what I mean? Like, the night is not just about you. Like, maybe they're coming to see you, but they're going to dinner before and they're having like fun times in the car before. So the fact that you're part of someone's night it's such an honor and a blessing. So I feel like as a performer, you have to remember that. And try to keep them engaged and interact. And I look for like how people in their songs get the crowd into it, like singbacks or talking, how they talk to the audience. That's what I really love watching. And some artists are great at it and some of them are not so great at it. And it's not whether it's bad or good, it's just what I want to do as an artist, Kip Moore's really good at getting people involved. Yeah. Eric Church, another one who is just, his fans go nuts. And I'm like, I want to find that. Like Taylor Swift, her fans go bonkers. Right. So that's the kind of magic I want to find. And that's what I look for.
I'm sure you will.
I hope so.
I'm sure you will.
I'm creating it right now.
You Got Me is just the start of all of this. Like, I know you've been doing this for a while, but you know how it usually takes so many different tries before you actually find that right one. Totally. So, and I feel like that's what, You Got Me did. And who knows, maybe Hey 3 a.m. will do the same.
Oh, I hope so. It's a really special song. I mean, You Got Me is amazing too. I'm just really excited for Hey 3 a.m. Yeah. So it kind of has that sort of universal thing too, where someone can take the song whatever direction they want. So I'm excited. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm glad that we got to talk about this. Oh my gosh, thank you. Mixtape coming real soon. Yeah. And you guys be sure to check out Olivia Lane. New single is out now. It's called You Got Me. And thanks for watching on Front Row Live.